But how did you hear of Ratio Christi?
Do I get to go first again, or are we
Why don't we
all
start
we
with? Why
pop?
don't we start with? I want to start with Chris because he's got a fun little story here.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah. So I was my first exposure to Ratio Christi was in high school. I think it was my junior year. Uh, I saw a debate that was put on. I'm pretty sure it was at the Purdue campus. It was William Lane Craig, and I cannot remember who he was debating. But on the front end of the debate, they're thanking different sponsors, and they said, "And we'd like to thank the Ratio Christi chapter at this campus." And so I just had filed that away as being associated with apologetics, which I knew I liked, and so I thought, okay, that's cool, and that was that. But then several years later, I found myself at Indiana University, South Bend, and my second semester there, I was at the student organization fair. All the different groups had their table in the campus gymnasium, and I was only at this fair because my uncle wanted to introduce me to a Bible study group on campus. And I talked with them. I wound up going to a couple of their Bible studies throughout the semester. Good people. But after I met them, I turned around and saw a Ratio Christi table. The actually prior director of advancement, Donald McLaughlin, had started a chapter there on the side of what else he was doing with Ratio Christi. And so I met him and his assistant, Bill. And yeah, I just became one of the founding student members, student leaders in the chapter at IU South Bend, and have been involved with Ratio Christi pretty much in some capacity or other ever since then.
Tyler, how about you? How did you hear of RC?
Yeah, so strangely enough, as you were talking, Chris, I remember seeing that and I didn't even realize that I tucked that away as well. That was just like that literally just happened that I remembered that. And that was way before my like formal introduction to Ratio Christi, which was at Biola University where I did my master's. Um, so they set some tables up, or they had like a little conference type thing, just an interest meeting. And at that point, I was going through a really rough patch in life, and I was like, I'm here for school. I'm not even here for like job stuff. Like that's the furthest thing from my mind. So then coming back home, and a year or so later, one of our former board members, who was one of my professors, posted something on Facebook and was like, "Hey, we're always hiring people. If you have a university in your area that doesn't have a Ratio Christi and you are in apologetics, like come talk to us. We want to see what we can do to plant a chapter in your town. You don't even have to move like you would have to do with some of the other ministries and college ministries. You don't have to do that." And I'm like, "Yep, sign me up." I have learned to love my city and wanted to bring apologetics to my city, and that was like the perfect way to do it, was Ratio Christi.
Julian.
I'm glad Wes is here because he, in large part, is part of the reason why I'm with Ratio Christi, actually. So in college, it was my senior year that I became a Christian. Actually, so I went to undergrad in Florida at the University of Central Florida. There's a Ratio Christi chapter there. Never heard of it in my entire time in college. I just wasn't interested in Christian things until later on. Oh well. But I moved up to North Carolina, and I had gotten interested in the apologetics realm, was looking at stuff on YouTube, and came across David Wood and all the Islamic stuff that goes on over there, and then eventually joined his forum, which is Acts 17 Apologetics Forum, and Wes was on there. And I remember the post that I made, I think I could find it, but it was something like, "I'm interested in apologetics, and I sort of do it as a hobby, like I make YouTube videos occasionally. I don't know what I want to do with it, but it's fun." And Wes goes, "Hey, I'm with the group called Ratio Christi. Here's my phone number. Give me a call." And he put me in touch with the guys over at NC State, which I work with now, which is super cool. And that's how I heard about it.
Woo!
That's
I
great.
love that story. I always like that. Yeah, and yeah, I was just flipping through the forum, and someone was and he goes, "Oh, I'm interested in this," and I'm like, "Yeah, here, let me reach out. We literally do this." And he came on board, and 3 months later, he was fully funded, and now he's rocking it. So good job, Julian. My story. Well, I also fell down the apologetics hole after I, had that encounter with Jehovah's Witnesses. I went and got a master's in theological studies and just started studying, and got bit by the apologetics bug. And so got married and moved and was going to this new church, and this guy was coming around that was going to start a Ratio Christi chapter in Lincoln, Nebraska, and we lived in a little town outside of it. And he was coming to speak at my church on apologetics. And I didn't even go to his talk, but one of the guys at my church was like, "Oh, this guy does apologetics." And I was like, "What? Someone else knows what that word means?" Because I hadn't had, no one else cared. And I was running around telling people the Kalam cosmological argument, and they're like, "All right, great, that's neat." I'm like, "You don't understand how great it is." So then I got hooked up with him, and then joined him. I quit my job as a music teacher and raised my support, and got that chapter up and running. And now I'm planted one down there, and now I'm here.